Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I want to talk real briefly. I don't have a lot of time this morning, but I have been down the rabbit hole and I wanted to talk to everybody. I think it's really, really important. Y'all are going to have to hold on one second. I got some internet issues going on. There we go. Hopefully that'll take care of it. But I want to talk about this because as you see this empty cupboard next to me, well, it could be devastating to all of us, right? Devastating. You open up the cupboard, you can't feed your children diddly. You can't. You don't have a can of spam. You don't have a can of beans. You're done. You're done. Right. So really, we really need to think about this situation. Good morning to everybody. Um, I wanted to present this to you. I've been working on it, and I think it's one of those situations that we really, really have to get down to the nitty gritty. Because to avoid being an angry mob fighting over a loaf of bread, it's time to prep up food. And I the nonprofits that I'm working for, one of them actually deals with global hunger, and so my eyes keep getting more and more open to the global hunger problem around the world, not just here in the United States, but around the world. And I want to talk to you in depth about this real quick while I have time this morning, because something very bad is happening to the food, very, very bad. There is an enormous increase in the number of food items being recalled in 2022 and 2023, as we all are aware of, right? But do we know really how bad it is? Do have we really thought about or did any in-depth research? Folks, 700% increase in 2022, and this is according to an FDA report. 2022, 700% increase, and now we're seeing more and more. And then what the heck do we do, right, to come through this? Because as you all know, the Great Depression didn't last 1 or 2 years; it lasted many, many years, and the repercussions of it were unbelievable. But the units, the individual bags, salad, baby formula, up again. Baby formula is disappearing off the shelves. Limits are coming back, right? And as we see all these things happening, and these are facts that I've dug up from different sites. These are facts. So what does it take for one person or two people to get through a famine? To actually get through a famine? It's a lot of food, y'all. It's a lot of food. Not even your own garden will sustain you. On January 20 on January 31st, 2023, just this year, ConAgra recalled approximately 2 million pounds of canned meat and poultry. Then we have all the chickens being culled. And if this isn't wake up calls for all of us, I don't know what it is, folks. I really don't know what it is. I don't know what will shake the masses to say, hey, it's time to pull your head out of your ass and look at what's happening around us. Over 40 million egg laying hens have been culled in the United States since all of this started. And this report came out in January. How many more have been culled? Then we get to the situation is, okay, we don't want to be out there in the masses. It's the worst thing. When the dollar crumbles, which is crumbling right before our eyes, now Mexico is going to jump to BRICS, and Mexico is our southern border, folks. So let's talk about the amount of food storage that you would have to sustain for just one adult, just one, not a whole family. I'm talking just one dang person, one person, right? 390 pounds of grain. 390 pounds. How in the hell do you even store 390 pounds of grain? 5-gallon buckets, oh yeah, they're great. 55-gallon, great. But then you got the case with the rodents and things getting into them. Then on top of that, you got 70 pounds per person. We're talking per person, one person, right? 70 pounds of beans, 25 pounds of dried meat. And then let's keep going. You got 90 pounds of dairy, 25 pounds of fat and oils, 60 pounds of sugar per person, and 90 pounds of dried fruit, and then an assortment of other goods. So, how do we come through this when the
Great Depression of 23 hits us. See, it's going to be a lot different than the Great Depression of the early 1900s because, folks, this is the thing that I have to say. Back then, people were more, they were harder working. They were used to going out, planting gardens. Most people had chickens. They had somebody in town they could get beef from. And then, what are they putting in the beef? What are they putting in the meat? What is this new thing about for all the animals, right? The animals are gonna get Kool-Aid. And then what is that going to do to them? I seen a startling picture of hundreds of thousands of cattle that they did the Kool-Aid for, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. And global hunger is going to happen. Global hunger is going to definitely be something. And I'll tell you what, starvation is not like dehydration. Starvation is long and terrible. First of all, you're going to start losing your capabilities to move. You're going to lose your sense of what's right and what's wrong and what's going on. And then your organs are going to start slowly closing down on you and shutting off. And it is a slow, painful death. If you've ever watched any of the movies, documentaries about starvation, it is terrible. So at the end of the day, folks, this is the amount of food that you're going to need per person. And it's also going to be dependent on the person's body mass, their age, their height, their weight, all those different good things, right? So it's never too late to prepare, and it's never too late right now. We still have today. We still have today. Planting a garden is great, but is it going to sustain you in the long haul? Probably not, right? Probably not. You are going to need other aspects. Just as if you watched the video this morning, I am letting the deer come up. I am not trying to spook the deer. I'm trying to watch the days and the times that they come up because one deer can feed you for a long time. But the other thing is crazy people, people that have no sense of the reproduction of deer or anything like that. What will happen is they're going to go out and they're going to fish and fish and fish until it's all gone. They're going to go out and hunt until it's all gone. They're going to be everybody is going. It's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be a madhouse. So I think that we have to explore food storage more in depth. We have to think about our plan A, B, C, and the O shitter. We have to keep on prepping. On right now, everybody should be in fourth gear, and you should be hauling ass. You should be hauling ass to reproduce plants. You should be hauling ass to figure out people in your community, in your area that have chickens, that have goats, that have cows, that you can make connections with to get a good food supply. You should be going to the Scratch and Denty's, the Aldi's, the places, Dollar Tree, places that you can stock up canned food, pastas. I've looked into freeze dried food. If you're wealthy, great, go for it. Get you a freeze dryer, but you better be using that thing nonstop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You better be dehydrating. You better be canning food. You better be storing food in every way you possibly can. I really just have been thinking about food and then thinking about my job and talking to people about global hunger, and I'm like, wow, it's not just here in the States, it's all over the world, and it's getting worse and worse by the day. So I think that every single one of us needs to put a real serious food plan in place. It's not too late. You still have time. As long as we have right now today before the dollar collapses, you have time. But, Dragonflies has been canning her arse off. I mean, she has been canning like crazy. She's been dehydrating. We have been stacking pastas and rice, and I still don't feel that we're ready for the collapse of the food chain. So it's really, really important. Good morning, Dragonflies. Okay. It's leaning into the road. Well, y'all, I got to make this short. The electric company is down here. We have a tree setting on top of another tree that's about ready to collapse onto our electric line coming to the property, to the cabin. But I want to say that think about your food storage, calculate your needs per family, and everybody's just going to be different. The biggest thing I can say is that we don't want to be out there in the masses when the dollar collapses. We don't want to be out there in the masses when people are fighting over a loaf of bread, how they have in China and other places. Plant those gardens and remember that a reasonable amount of food storage at home is becoming more and more common. So you're not the only ones out there getting food, but I would also split up your shopping. Be safe so that people don't know exactly what you're doing, right? um, Storage, there's so many ways. 5-gallon buckets, 55-gallon heavy duty buckets, bougie, are a great way to stack food. Because and think about the rodents. You may want to take mesh wiring, encase the buckets in mesh wiring, and do that. You may want to make you a small root cellar in the ground, but keep prepping, keep praying, and don't stop, folks. I'm telling you this from my heart. I feel it in my heart. I'm going to be posting some things later today on the community page, with what you need per person, the actual numbers that they've broke down per number. But it is so important that you'll get a better night's sleep. You'll have that insurance policy if you keep doing the legwork. Think about your meats. Not everybody wants to live on vegetables. I don't want to live on vegetables, and I don't want to live on just rice. Also, MREs are very expensive. Freeze dried food is very expensive. We have seen people react over the years and panic. And trust me, when the dollar crumbles, we are going to see people absolutely go berserk. They are going to actually freak out and they are going to go ballistic. I just watched a video recently of Target, and this Target was targeted. People were running in left and right, grabbing everything they possibly could. Unnecessary bullshit, right? Not thinking about food. They're thinking about TVs and microwaves and Rokus and movies and all this bullshit. And folks, when the dollar crumbles, and we have today, we might not have tomorrow, we might not have tonight. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is the potential risk in this country is very, very high of the dollar collapsing, of people going ballistic, and it's getting to the point that everyone, right? There's going to be a stampede of people. People are going to be getting hurt. People are going to be losing their lives, right? Make a list. Sit down and do an inventory, and be particular about your inventory. Then turn around and tweak your inventory as long as you possibly can to keep filling in the gaps. Good morning, Mount Grandma. It's very important that we all take the steps, because you do not want to be part of an angry mob fighting over the last thing of spaghetti or the last loaf of bread or the little bit of eggs, because when it happens, it's going to happen very, very quickly. And regardless if you're ready or not, it's going to occur. Yeah, no, I'm not taking it down. The electric company's taking it down, Tamara, because it's going to fall on top of their electrical wire. It's the only way we can get a tree cut up free up here. But remember to calculate those food items. I'll be posting that list on the community page today. Folks, I have to make this short. I have to work here in an hour. I also need to go down here and meet the electric company and get them directed in the right path to get this tree down before we have this other storm come in. Think about your grains. The most fundamental type of food you can have is storing grains. At the end of the day, it might suck to eat rice or beans, but at least you'll be eating. You can tweak that with spices and seasonings and soup bases and things like that. Bone broth. You can put those things over it to make it taste better. And grains are a fantastic food item to keep in your food storage because they're full of nutrients and they last for years and years and years. They last for a long time, and they're easy to cook if we have a power or an EMP situation as well. Remember, everything is determined by the size of your household, in addition to your weight, height, age. For the average household of 5 people, you'll need to store a total of 1,400 pounds of grains. Think about that. For an average adult, you should have approximately 390 pounds of grains. And, you can break it down. You can have wheat, you can have rice, you can have pastas. What else is on my list? Flour. These are things that you should be getting because you're not going to be able to make that, right? You got oats. All of these things. Pasta, I like pasta, and you can do so much with pasta. You can take some tomatoes from your garden. You could take some spinach from your garden, but don't forget about your cornmeal and things of that sort. Um, Make sure that you have plenty of grains to live off of because that could get you through the long haul. If you go fishing and you got a couple fish, at least you could add it to the rice, the pasta, whatever, to give you that protein. And think about your peanut butter. A lot of peanut butter has been recalled. So total grains, 190 pounds, 100 pounds of wheat, 35 pounds of rice, 27 pounds of oats, 27 pounds of pasta, and 27 pounds of cornmeal should be your first top priority to get just so you can have your baseline of food. I wanted to stay on here a little longer, but I've got to go down there and deal with the electric company and make sure they get this down. Um, Folks, don't give up. Don't give in. Incorporate. Be like a chameleon. Look for ways to add those grains into your diet. Get out there and do the dang thing on a daily basis until you can't. And it doesn't matter, bougie. Just keep going. Keep going until you can't go. You should definitely have a lot of beans. Grains, beans will last for ages, and they're incredibly easy to store as well, and they're nutritious. But keep stockpiling. 250 pounds of beans is what your goal should be for a family of five. 250 pounds, and I just want to say that the dollar is crumbling. It's crumbling before us, and as this happens, folks, it's going to be a very, very serious situation. Not for the people that haven't been prepping, but for all the people. For all the people. All of us are going to have our heads spinning. And at the end of the day, if you're digging into your food storage right now, it's great to know that you are doing something because a little bit of cushion is better than nothing at all, right? So the main thing that I want to say before I jump off here, and I apologize, I thought I would be able to spend about 30 minutes to an hour with you. I just can't. Is that we all have been talking about this for a year and a half, and it is here, ladies and gentlemen. This global food crisis is upon us. When you have a 700% increase in food recalls, there's your sign. We have the banks failing. We have Mexico and all these other countries wanting to join BRICS. Our allies are deserting the United States. And as they desert us, our dollar is going to crumble. And we are seeing hyperinflation. And that is the first sign of a crumbling economy. We talked about it last year about the 5 signs of becoming a third world country. Y'all, we only have one left, and that's the total collapse. I care about y'all. I want you to keep your head on a swivel when you're outside, when you're out and about. The crime rate's up 1,100%. The crime rate is absolutely ballistic. People are doing random crimes, just walking up to somebody, bashing them in the head for no reason. These things are going to happen more and more because people are losing it. God bless you from here in the Ozarks to wherever you're at today. Keep your boots on the ground. Put it in fourth gear. If you've been cruising along, listen to all these prepper channels and saying, well, it's not really going to happen. They've been talking about this shit for 3 years. It's happening. And it's going to speed up the closer and closer we get to the collapse. We're going to see things turn very quickly. Keep doing the legwork. Do the dang thing. Don't give up. Don't give in. Until I see you again, my friends, God bless you from here in the Ozarks to wherever you're at. Make today count. See you soon.
Hey, listen up, I've tried to tell you this 100 times. Not getting better by lying there pretending to cry. You on repeat, you can see, cause you have closed your eyes. You say you listen, but you're missing what it's all about. Rise up now. If you never fall, you don't change at all. Cry out now. Have you given up? I will never stop, yeah. I try to help you, but you keep reading between the lines. There's nothing there for you to complicate, we're not aligned. You say you listen, but guessing that's just another sign of growing up. You're growing old, you laugh, keep